Dave was a good friend to everybody. You know, my wife and I were talking the other night, and she brought something up that was very, very profound. Dave never had a bad thing to say about anybody. Dave was always positive, always had a smile on his face when he'd show up to your house and be happy. Let's go. What are we doing? Are we gonna go play horseshoes? Are we gonna go to the beach? Let's go to Nobs. Let's go surfing. You know? He just was the happiest guy with nothing ever negative to say about anybody. And you know, I admire him for that, and I will always think about him that way. And you know, Dave and I shared more memories than we have time for today. But I'll share a couple quick ones with you. A lot of them let's just start with the fact that he was in my wedding. You know, he shared that stage with me and gave me the strength to stand up there and make one of the biggest decisions of my life. And you know, he and I were very close. We had a lot of really phenomenal Baja trips together. And I'll just touch on one of those real quick. We did a trip down to Cabo with a couple of our buddies, and we had a really, really good time. But along the way, we decided it was a long drive, and we'd stop off and take a break and breather, take a beer, and we pulled out in these salt flats, and instantly both Pat and my truck just went straight to the chassis. You'd think we know better after traveling Baja as many years as we did, but it looked like we had another 100 yards, but no, it was straight down. And we were able to get my little truck out, because a little Nissan light truck, no problem. But Pat's truck went quite too easy. We unloaded that thing and spent hours and hours digging it out. And the more we dug, the more water filled in underneath the tires. And it was a chore. And it was probably 3, 4, or 5 hours later that we decided we weren't going to get out until the tide went back out, so we could stop, you know, with the water filling in here. So, but Dave was determined. He hiked back down that road we came out, at least a couple miles, if not more. And I'll be damned if maybe an hour and a half later, here comes Dave on the back of the tractor. Big old tires, higher than I was tall. You know, Mexican guy driving down. Here's Dave, just big old grin on his face. You know, and that tractor guy was priceless. You know, he helped us try that night, but the tide was too high. He spent the night out there with us that night, protecting us, making sure no banditos got to us. And in the morning, he helped pull us out. And that trip was phenomenal. We ended up in Cabo, and that's where we met Jerry, wherever he is around here somewhere. And we spent a week or so out on the East Cape, and just had shared memories that will last me a lifetime. But that was just Dave. I mean, he's just always into having a great time. There's so many phenomenal memories in Aubrey Ojos. Him and I walking into what they call the Grand Baile for New Year's. And at the time, you know, there's maybe 1,800 people that lived in town there. We were the only white guys in there. And here's me and Dave, you know, with our heads down, and the RSA family comes up and grabs us and brings us right to their table, and we're sitting there right dead center, in front of everybody, right in the middle. 16-piece band up there, Presidente in the middle of the table, and everybody's dressed in like tuxedos. I'd never seen the likes. I mean, they're all dressed to the hilt, girls in gowns, guys in tuxedos. And here's me and Dave, kind of dressed like you see me now. A little bit embarrassed to be in there, but what an experience that was. But anyway, I want you guys all to remember Dave for that smile that he always had for everybody. And every time you go surf, you pull into a barrel at Nobs, think about Dave, because he was one of the best tube riders out here, and he always will.